Rachel Quinn had only lived in Willow Crest Apartments for 9 days when police were called to her building on March 6, 2021. It was early evening, the hour when most people were settling in for dinner, when the call came through as a simple noise complaint. Officers climbed the narrow stairwell of the 2-story building expecting a routine check, maybe a loud TV or an argument. But behind the door of Unit 1B, they found something that would unravel a devastating story of hope, renewal, and a neighbor whose quiet obsession had been building just overhead. Rachel had moved here for peace, for a fresh start after the hardest year of her life. But her new beginning ended the moment she met the man upstairs. Rachel was born on June 24, 1993, in Bremerton, Washington. The oldest of 3 sisters, she carried responsibility naturally, the kind of person who stayed late after school events to help adults clean up, who remembered everyone's birthdays, who drove her friends home without being asked. Her mother, Linda, would later say that Rachel was the quiet kind of strong, the kind you don't appreciate until she's gone. She studied digital marketing at Northwest State University, graduating in 2015, landing a solid job, and building what she thought was a stable life. But 2020 shook everything. She lost her job when the company downsized. Her 3-year relationship dissolved under the strain of the pandemic. And then, in October, her father died of a sudden heart attack. At 27, she found herself grieving, unemployed, and unsure of who she was anymore. She moved back home to help her mother through the aftermath, sorting through belongings, paperwork, and silence. But by February 2021, she told her family she needed her own space, somewhere small, quiet, and manageable, a place where she could breathe again. Willow Crest Apartments wasn't fancy. Built in the late 1980s, it had thin walls and dated carpeting, but the rent was affordable, and the complex sat between tall cedar trees that made the courtyard feel tucked away from the world. Rachel signed the lease on February 26th. She brought 3 suitcases, 2 boxes of books, and a framed photo of her father she placed on the kitchen counter before unpacking anything else. Her sister Emily remembered her sounding lighter on the phone, saying, "It's not much, but it's mine. And for the first time in months, I feel calm." 4 days later, she met him. His name was Evan Carr, 34 years old, a forklift operator who lived in Unit 2B directly above her. He knocked on her door on March 2nd, smiling too widely, talking too fast, explaining he liked to know who's living under him. He asked if she needed help unpacking. She declined politely, but he lingered longer than anyone should after being told no. Rachel later told her friend Megan, "He wasn't creepy, just intense, like he'd already been watching me before I opened the door." Over the next few days, he found reasons to start conversations. Too many reasons, too often. He asked about her job search, her schedule, her plans for the weekend, questions that felt more like surveillance than small talk. On March 4th, Rachel messaged Emily saying, "The neighbor upstairs is weirdly attentive. Not rude, just hovering. Like he times when I leave." She added a joking emoji, but Emily would later say the message didn't feel like a joke. That same night, Rachel heard footsteps above her long past midnight, heavy pacing, back and forth, slow, and strangely synchronized with her movements. When she turned off her light, the pacing stopped. When she turned it on again, it resumed. She dismissed it as coincidence. She shouldn't have. The next day, while taking out her trash, she saw Evan standing at the bottom of the stairs, with no bags, no purpose, just watching. He said, "I heard you up late last night." She apologized instinctively, though she had been quiet. He replied, "I don't mind. I just like knowing when you're awake." The sentence lodged in her chest like a warning. She told him she had to get to work and walked away without waiting for a response. Later that evening, when she parked her car, she realized his living room window overlooked her spot, blinds half open, lights on. On March 6th, Rachel woke at 7:12 a.m. and texted her mom a photo of her making coffee. She spent the afternoon assembling shelves and planning a relaxing night in. At 5:02 p.m., she texted Emily, "Something feels weird today. He keeps pacing. I can literally feel it through the ceiling." Emily asked if she wanted to FaceTime while cooking. Rachel never responded. Investigators later reconstructed the evening using smart speaker data, phone logs, and neighbor statements. Between 6:11 and 6:25 p.m., Evan left his apartment repeatedly, walking down the stairs and standing outside Rachel's door, not knocking, just waiting, 3 times. At 6:27 p.m., the neighbor in Unit 1A heard a thump in the hallway, a body hitting something followed by a sharp, startled gasp and silence. At 6:29 p.m., Rachel's smart speaker registered a voice command, "Stop music." She never used voice commands. At 6:31 p.m., a single scream, short, cut off instantly. When police entered the apartment at 7:42 p.m., responding to the noise complaint, they found Rachel near her overturned shelf in the living room. Signs of a struggle showed frantic resistance, not prolonged torture, not rageful violence, just sudden, chaotic defense against someone who had surprised her. Her phone was found under the couch. Her lamp shattered, the deadbolt locked from inside. Detectives determined Evan forced the confrontation quickly, overpowering her in minutes. Detective Jonah Reyes later described it as obsession turning into opportunity. Fast, silent, final. When officers went upstairs to question Evan, his apartment was empty, lights still on, TV running, a half-eaten bowl of cereal on the counter. A bolo went out by 8:10 p.m. His phone pinged near Old Mill Highway, 5 miles east. By 9:27 p.m., police found his abandoned car near a wooded trailhead, footprints heading into the trees. Search teams feared he was attempting suicide, but tucked inside his apartment, they found something worse than a goodbye letter, a notebook filled with 21 pages about Rachel, notes about her schedule, sketches of her apartment layout, and a list titled, "Things She Needs to Understand About Me." It was a disturbing mixture of entitlement, fantasy, and delusion. One line read, "She's alone. She needs someone to protect her. She just doesn't see it yet." He'd had no meaningful interaction with her before she moved in. Digging into Evan's past revealed a disturbing pattern. A stalking investigation involving a co-worker in 2018, a restraining order dispute with an ex-girlfriend in 2016, and an eviction from a prior apartment over complaints of unsettling behavior toward a female tenant. None of it resulted in charges. None of it followed him to Willow Crest. If we had known any of that, the property manager later told reporters, he would never have lived here. 2 days later, on March 8th, at 10:12 a.m., hikers found a man sleeping under a bridge near Pine Creek. Evan was arrested without incident. He didn't run. He didn't deny anything. When detectives asked why he did it, he said simply, "She made me feel seen. Then she ignored me." The trial began February 14th, 2022. The prosecution presented him as a man with a long, escalating pattern of obsessive behavior. The notebook was the backbone of their case. The defense argued diminished capacity, citing mental health struggles and delusional attachment. But the jury heard the audio timeline, footsteps pacing, the forced entry thump, the sudden silence. Rachel's mother testified while holding the framed photograph her daughter had unpacked on her first day. She said softly, "She was just trying to start over. That's all." After 9 hours of deliberation, the jury found Evan Carr guilty of first-degree murder. He showed no emotion as the verdict was read. In the months after Rachel's death, her family created the Rachel Quinn Foundation for Safer Housing, pushing for better background check requirements on multi-unit properties and providing resources for renters who feel unsafe but don't know what steps to take. Her sister Emily now speaks publicly about early warning signs, not to instill fear but to help people articulate the uneasy feelings they so often dismiss. Every March 6th, family and friends gather in the Willow Crest courtyard, leaving flowers beneath the window of Unit 1B, the space Rachel believed would be the start of a calmer life. Rachel never wanted to be the subject of a crime story. She wanted a quiet morning with sunlight through her window, a fresh start, and the chance to rebuild. If her story moved you, if something about her strength or intuition stayed with you, let it remind you to trust your instincts. You are not overreacting. You are not imagining things. And if you'd like to help keep stories like Rachel's alive, consider supporting foundations like hers that advocate for safer housing and victim awareness. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for honoring Rachel's memory. Please like the video, share it, leave a comment for Rachel below, and subscribe for more stories told with respect, truth, and heart.